Welcome back in, everyone. This is Black Girls Talking TV, where we bring the group chat to life and discuss all your favorite TV shows. Today is all about Love Island. We are a week into season 7 of Love Island USA, so we're going to be getting our general first impressions now that we've seen everyone for about a week. I am Victoria. I am a psychologist.
And I'm Kamaria. I'm an attorney and a pop culture writer. And so let's get into it. Who are your favorites off top? One per gender.
Off top, Alandria.
Alandria? Okay.
That is my girl.
And
Yes,
elaborate.
she's my favorite girl.
Really?
She's my favorite girl. Yes, I love that everyone goes to her for advice, and she seems like a really good sounding board. I love the moment when she was like, you can ask my friends. I don't support my friends' delusions. Like, we're going to be rooted in reality, and we're going to check these red flags. Love that. I think she's a beautiful woman, and so far she's held herself with a lot of class, a lot of grace. Yeah, so she's my favorite. Ace.
Okay, Ace is your girl.
Ace was also up there for me.
First, but no, just go.
Oh, my bad.
Go into your
Too
eye
eager.
because I cannot understand. Ace is your favorite guy? I just can't. I cannot with you.
Yes. Now he did have a little oopsie between episodes 6 and 7. Now I was not feeling some of the things he was saying for sure, so I am not advocating. This is simply off of, do I have another favorite guy? I also like Nick, but
I'll be making faces for days.
I will say though, like with Ace, what I really enjoyed about him, especially the first couple of episodes, was how quick and witty he was with the jokes. Like episode 1 when Bella and Nick got coupled up and he was like, they look like they going to prom because they just look like the couple next door. Yeah. Or just a little things he was saying behind, about Jeremiah and Huda, like clocking that real quick, being able to like, being vocal about like some of the BS that was going on. So I really like that about Ace. And he seemed like, at least for, again, the first couple of episodes, he seemed like somebody who was very respectful. Someone who like protects women, I did not like how he showed up though, episode 6 and 7. I think there was a different way to go about what he did. Of course we'll get into that, but so far like he was like my favorite until those episodes, but now I don't really have a favorite guy.
Yeah, the guys are kind of lacking. I will say that they're not. It was kind of difficult to figure out who is my favorite guy type of thing. But yeah, Ace is not at the top. He almost got my least favorite. I promise you. Not to spoil it, but he almost got my least favorite. But I do feel you on like he is entertaining. He is like he does make jokes. Yeah. Like I think it was at some point, I don't know if it was like Nick and was just trying to give his update on Bella and Sierra, and he was like, "Step to the floor, my man!" Like, and it's just like he makes comments that are like humorous. They're not like the funniest over the top, but he brings this humor to the show. So I will give him that. Yeah. He does. He's the funniest and most entertaining to watch for sure.
And my first impression of him, not to cut you off, but like my first impression of him was like he seems very vibrant. Like he just seems like someone around him you're gonna have a good time. Like you could just tell like he be with his nieces and nephews just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, this family guy, life of the party. I don't know. He gives that.
I can see that. Okay, my faves are Shelly. For the women, Shelly, I just really love. Like she is calm and confident, and like she be getting the men, like, you know what I mean? Like she's just in her defined feminine and she's the most level-headed also to me of all the women. Yeah, like sometimes you can see like others will be spiraling, and I'm not even just talking about the Maya situation. I think it was like a Huda moment as well, and a Bella moment. I think she just gives them like more clarity, and she says things in a calm way. Like I remember one time she said to, I think, Huda, she was like, so just being devil's advocate. And I'm like, look, she know how to say what to say and how to say it. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, that's her real opinion. But she says it in a way that's very like calm. She's just very level headed. Like, and so I think that is hats off to her. I like Charlie as the guy, and I'm so surprised that nobody is like I'm sorry. Charlie just seems like level-headed as a guy. He doesn't seem too macho. But he seems macho enough. Like he gives just like, I'm really here to connect with somebody. I'm not trying to be a player, and how we connect really matters to me. And so I was very surprised
Yeah.
that he didn't connect with anybody before Hannah got there. So that's my those are my two top picks of who I like the most right now. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Flipping to the other side, who do you like the least?
See, y'all. This is why you got to bring the group chat to life because it's always some things that there can be some
I know
discrepancies.
different
But I
opinions
feel you.
because even that Ace and Maya
I feel you.
situation,
I
we're
feel
gonna
you.
get to that, but we talked about that. We had very
Yes.
different initial reactions.
Yeah.
Especially at episode 6, because episode 7 went a little further on both ends.
Yeah.
Like, we went further on both ends. It was like, okay, Amaya learned something about you. Okay, Ace, I'm learning something about you. And so it was just kind of
Yeah.
so yeah, but anywho, who you like the least?
The least on the guys. For a while it was Austin. It was
Me
Austin, and
too.
I went in completely biased about Austin because of his political
Oh wow.
views. And I know, yeah, he voted for Trump.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
This makes sense now why he's my bottom.
yeah,
But go ahead.
yeah. And the only reason why like he has been somewhat inching up is because of the way he talks about Shelly.
Oh,
I
I'm gonna draw a line with
appreciate
him.
that
Not you.
he yeah. I appreciate that he could be like, Shelly is not about to chase after you. Like, she's calm. She's not about all of that drama. Like, I appreciated that about Austin. I'm also like, Austin, do you like black women? Like, he said a lot of problematic things the first episode. Like, I had to rewind. Like it was one time when him and Shelly were having their initial conversation, and Shelly was like, "Yeah, when I was younger, because it was something about a bug or something." And I literally wrote down, "Austin can't even protect you from a bug, like please." But Shelly was talking about how she used to be in like the dirt, and like she loved to get her hands dirty and like play in the trees, and he was like, "Oh, you were in the trees." It's just
Oh.
like, okay.
Not you.
Okay, that doesn't land well. Uh, you know? But yeah, Austin, I'm like, okay, like what is it? But it's so funny because Shelly is a bisexual woman. Um and then you have Amaya and Shelly, both are the girls that he, has stated that he likes. But in the real world, this just would not work. This just would not work. And that's like the one of like the greatest things about these reality TV shows sometimes because they're so insulated. Like they're not like it's a representation of the real world, but it's like how do you bring these dynamics that you've created, whether it's Love is Blind, Temptation Island, like all these different shows, and actually place them into real life scenarios. And it's like in real life, this would not work. You are a white man who lives in probably the most whitest area in Florida. You're a pool boy, damn near a porn star, and
Yeah.
yeah, so he's on the
Wait,
bottom for
okay, so
me for those
don't do your
reasons.
woman yet. I'm gonna say talk about Austin
Okay.
since he's my bottom two, and then you can go to yours because like for me, I was having difficulty figuring out. I was like, it was so many to choose from on the bottom, but not a lot to choose from on the top. But I settled on him because
Yeah.
I was like, something about Austin, just like he gives me boy trapped in a man's body. Like it's like something about him is
Mm,
very like not like he ain't, like go out and get this woman or leave or go away. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like what
yeah.
is it? He's very. I could see him like having problematic political views because he seems very easily led as opposed to like proactive about like I value these things, I value those things. He seems like just like I don't know, like a sucker. Like he seems like I said, a boy in a man's body. He's not giving me
Yeah.
like grown man.
He gives temper tantrums. Yeah, like if he had a temper tantrum, it wouldn't be surprising.
I don't even have that thought, but like I could feel you on that. But it's more about just there's something about like boys are very unsure of themselves. They're very like,
Yeah.
they're learning, they're growing, just like little girls, you know what I'm saying? But when you become a woman, when you become a man, you need to have a little bit more sureness about who you are and how you're stepping. And like he gives me very timid, very, you know what I mean? You could be
Yeah.
a more reserved guy, but still have a stature about you that's very like, no, I'm not gonna necessarily be the life of the party, but I am gonna be here standing on business. That's what the kids say.
Yeah.
Standing on
Yeah.
business or whatever. Like he don't give me like that level of confidence. He gives me something about him is very timid, and that's what is giving me boy. And I feel like that's what Shelly's just like, I don't know, he's nice, but like I don't know. So I'm not a fan of Austin as a whole, and this whole
Yeah.
storyline about his political views has like, now it's like, okay, all of
Yeah.
it makes more sense.
I will say though, after the suitcase game though, Austin, it seems like he's trying to break out of that shell just a little bit, right? Because it was I literally wrote down like after that, because after the suitcase game, he had that conversation with Shelly and was like, this just seems like it's giving friend vibes, and so I was like, well, maybe because all the worst of him, right, is out there in terms of how his sexuality is
Oh,
very
yeah, yeah.
hypersexual.
Also
Yeah,
a
like
boy.
maybe he feels like now he could be a little bit more, yeah. Maybe now he feels like he could be a little bit more, himself and comfortable.
Mhm.
But we'll see. We'll see how things progress. I was surprised when he was like, yeah, I got to start doing things with Shelly to show her that I like her. And he went and did that whole little, I don't know, movement
Meditation.
flow
Yeah, but then even then,
thing.
it's
Yeah.
like the way Ace was able to come up in there. I mean, of course, it's Shelly's decision, which I was like, Shelly,
Yeah.
tell him like, I'll be with you in a little bit. You see, this man got. But the
Right.
way that like someone was able to feel confident coming in, just taking your woman right from under you, it's like they respect
Right.
your manhood. Like, come on
Yeah.
now. Like you
Yeah.
could at least say, like, of course, Shelly.
And then he dapped him up. I was like, oh,
Right.
if that was me, honey, don't dap him up. Be like, you can have her in a second.
Right, and it's a respectful way to do it because it's like it's obviously Shelly's decision. You can just say like, "Hey, Shelly, this is your decision, but I would appreciate if you could give us a little bit more time. Is that okay with you, Shelly? Is that okay? You know what I mean? Because it feels like we were kind of interrupting our time a
Yeah.
little bit. I'm sure she'll have time later, well, or something. I don't know, but it's like state your case, man. Do something like put
Period.
your big boy panties
Yeah.
on. Like when I
Yeah.
say panties,
Cause we not gonna act like Ace didn't do that on purpose.
right?
Ace definitely said they've been talking for 2.5 seconds and it's too much for me, and so I gotta go scoop Shelly
Right.
back up.
And Ace knows he can play you. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think
Yes.
Ace would have done that to Nick. I don't think he would have
No.
rolled up
He
on Nick
respects
and been
Nick though.
like, let me talk to Sierra. Like, I don't think he would have done that. I don't think he respects Austin.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
speaking to in terms of like Austin. Like, there's something about him that's giving like not fully stepped into his manhood, but like, I don't know. But who do you like? Who's your least favorite for the women?
Least favorite for the women, Huda.
We got the same. The
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. Huda, like she's doing way too much. I'm like, uh, first of all, let's just start with I don't know too many women who would go on a show like this, right? Like Love Island. I get everybody gotta find love. You a mama, you deserve love too. But are we leaving our child no contact for 8 weeks for a show like Love Island?
Mm,
First red flag.
mm,
Second, the fact that you wanted to take so long or you were acting like you needed to wait to like develop this sense of trust with Jeremiah, who's gonna be a stranger. Let's just be honest, y'all strangers until y'all get about this
mm,
mug, okay? So you like you like leading with this whole like I got a secret, I got to tell, and the way that she said it, it's just I don't know. And then Hood is
mhm,
manipulative,
mhm,
in my opinion.
mhm,
She's manipulative. Like the whole pie game thing, she told the girls, I didn't want to, it was either going to be Amaya or Ace. So I didn't want to pie Amaya. So I chose Ace. Then she tells Ace, oh, well, I would have rather kissed you than Amaya. Like she knows what she's doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
To like play the like not to just like kind of like toy in on everybody's emotions. You know what I'm saying? And it gives manipulative. I don't like the how she's going about this whole kid thing. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, this last interaction that her and Jeremiah had, it wasn't looking cute either.
Yeah, I mean,
So those are my overall thoughts with
overall thoughts.
Huda.
Yeah, yeah. For the last interaction, it didn't bother me as much. I actually thought Jeremiah was more in the wrong for that one than Huda, because I do think these people out here trying to sabotage their relationship, but it don't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they can't sabotage it if Jeremiah, like, I think the guys are. Like, I think they want a
Yeah,
chance at Huda, and so they keep trying to convince, like, I don't know. Like, I think some of the guys, like maybe Nick and maybe Ace and maybe even Taylor, but I don't know. But like, definitely Ace wants a chance at Huda. And I think that they are sabotaging the relationship. And I think that Jeremiah is just so weak that he's not understanding it. But Huda on her own, I think like everything you said, 1,000% agree with. Like to me, that Ace situation, I would to me it was fake. That's what I was like. It's just like you telling her one day, you telling him another thing, and don't think that Ace is not going to sit here and use that at some point. And say, that's my view that he's gonna use it at some point and say like, she said she chose me because she wanted to kiss me, like, and Jeremiah would be like,
right.
what? Whoa, what? And then that's gonna be something real that is like, did you tell me? Like, I
Yeah,
did, but I was just, look, something about her is fake. It's not giving like I stand up to the authenticity and the truth of that the moment is calling for. Like I just hide behind
yeah,
whatever sounds the best, right? So that's the one thing. And then, like you said, the manipulative thing, because the daughter situation, child, I text you that. I said, like, this is giving. I want you to like me first, and I want to make sure that
hmm
you're into me, and I've got you. And then I'll reveal this thing that I view as like I think she views it as a negative chip. I don't think she dislikes her daughter or doesn't love her daughter or doesn't want to be a mom. None of that. I think she knows that certain men are not trying to take on that baggage or and
yeah,
on the flip side, like Alandria said, she's also like certain women don't want to take on the baggage of having to deal with somebody who has kids already. And so I feel like she was just trying to like make sure he was like sufficiently sunken into her and then lay on the bad news. You know what I mean? Because I've had friends who've had men tell them that later. And the same thing. I'm thinking
hmm
it's like it's manipulative. You want this woman to get all
right.
love you and be all into it, and then you tell her the quote unquote bad news. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a
Yeah,
part of you. You're not Huda, excuse me. You are Huda the mom. It's part of
right.
you. You can't it's just part of you. It's like it's just part of you. So
Yeah,
I just felt like very manipulative to wait to tell him, very manipulative because it's like
yeah,
very manipulative. I that off rip to me was a problem with her, and everything else is just icing on the cake of like this problematic cupcake. um,
yeah. Agreed, agreed. Yeah. In terms of Huda too, like with the manipulation, I feel like she uses the fact that she's a mom to almost say that the love that she deserves is superior to anyone else. So like it has to be taken more seriously. Like when she said in that last interaction with Jeremiah, like I've told you so much and now you're gonna act like this. It's like you can't use that because it's just a part of who you are. Like you said, like you are a hood of the mom. Like this doesn't mean that someone has to treat you a certain way because you're a mom. Like everyone in here is trying to find somebody. And so if Jeremiah decides that it's not something he wants to deal with, or if he decides that he wants to explore other connections, just because you told him you are mom doesn't mean that now Jeremiah has to, treat you a certain way because you guys all signed up for the experience, which again goes back to why would you come into this type of experience feeling a certain way about you being a mother, wanting to, have a certain type of interaction with the man and come into into a Love Island type of experience.
Yeah, it seems like
Um,
maybe I mean, even like Love is Blind would have been better because it's like that person's picking for your
yeah,
insides as opposed to like because Jeremiah is totally picking Huda because he's got a like what he say a thing for foreign
a
looking.
type.
Yeah, that
Yes, yes, he has a
you just
type.
walked in there and looked like his type And that's neither here nor there. Society's, shaping of what's people's type. But either way, I'm not 1,000% sure he is here for her. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yes, he attraction wise is very attracted to her. And yes, I think she checks off minimal boxes. But in terms of like who she is, I don't feel like either of them have gotten a level of depth, going on in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, that's neither here nor there. Let's shift and talk about the couples. Like, let's talk about everybody and the pairings and, just some of the scenarios that have gone down in these couples. So we're going to start with Ace and Amaya. This was a scenario we were talking about, and like, you were saying you're in peace about him and having these boundaries. And I was saying he is a player, and Amaya clocked his ass. Like, I feel like she was very accurate. I feel like she had the right read but the wrong reaction. Like I do think when he was saying all that stuff to her, like, "Oh, I'm still exploring other options." Like as their first couple conversation, it felt like, okay, you you wanna like explore Shelly, but you wanna explore her too. You know what I mean? And you're just trying to groom her for the understanding that you'll be in Shelly's face, but you'll also be in her face. And that's cool if that's your thing, but it doesn't make you not a player, and that's not what Amaya wanted. But I think Amaya's reaction was crazy. It's like, girl, like if he's a player, just clock it and just be like, okay, yeah, not for me. No, thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to
Yeah.
like just getting all up in arms about it because he's allowed to be a player, to be honest. But
Yeah, he
it
is.
doesn't
He is.
it doesn't make it okay for you, but what were
Right.
your
Yeah. I felt like his initial conversation right after, I didn't think that was the worst conversation, quite honestly. To be like, hey, I don't want to like cuddle and do all the, and I'm not, and I literally was like thinking to myself in that moment, like, what happened for him to feel like he had to say that? And then I went back and thought about, Amaya and Austin, she made like that sexual joke with him and then they kissed. So I was just trying to figure out like what possibly could have occurred for Ace to feel like he had to like establish those boundaries because that's just not a way we have seen him interact with
But that's
anyone.
why I'm saying, like, I think he's establishing those boundaries because he wants to be a player and he's trying to gently lay it out for her that, like, I'm going to be exploring other people. So just, that's just like he wants to
Yeah.
be forthcoming and transparent with his
Yeah.
playerness. But it's like everybody don't want to be attached to a player, and she for sure don't want to be attached to a player. And so I think that's why he said it, not because he was turned off by anything she did per se. Maybe the babe, because she does say babe a lot. But even the babe, it's like he set her up for that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, the second conversation I did not like. The second conversation they had about around the babe thing, I felt like that was a setup. I felt like it was manipulative. I didn't think the first conversation, him establishing those boundaries, was the worst thing. Um, Maybe it could have been said like in a more gentle way, but I don't know. I didn't feel like it was what it was made to
Yeah,
be.
I think that, like, to me, it's not that I have an issue with I don't think it was manipulative, and I don't, well, manipulative in the sense that I do think he was grooming her for what he wanted, which was, I want to be a player. I think the only thing wrong with that conversation is that he wants to be a player. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah,
is the problem with that, having,
yeah,
like, that's his sin, I guess, in that conversation, is that he wants to play the field. And I was saying that before Maya even came in. I was watching, I'm like, he's interesting. He got a little thing for Huda. I'm like, he's interesting. Like, he's
yeah.
out here trying to play the field. And the fact that he didn't pick Shelly, I was like, he's trying to keep his options open. He don't want nobody else
Yeah, I didn't like
chance
that
to
either.
get to Amaya and get to know her. And so he knows he can go back to Shelly. That's the only thing I'm not a fan of with Shelly, is that I feel like she holds space for Ace, and like Ace is like knows that she's holding space, and so he's like out here playing the field. But I think the issue with that conversation is that he's just making it known, I'm a player. point blank. Like I
Yeah.
thought that before she flipped out, that's what I thought. I was like, look at his player ass. Like he trying to keep his options open. And
Yeah.
that's it. That's the
Yeah.
problem with it. It's not that he's doing her wrong per se. It's just that like, damn, you came to this process. Like, can you at least focus on one person at a time? Like at in a moment? Like, why are you so quick to be so like I'm not trying to say like get like Jeremiah and Huda, but at the same time, it's like, bruh, like you give like you're not really ready for commitment. That's what he gives to me. Like
Yeah,
in
he's
life,
definitely not ready for commitment for
in
sure.
life,
Yeah,
just period.
there's something there because even the reaction that he had to Babe, it was kind of like,
I
whoa, you
know.
know, like I definitely was like, it's just Babe. Like let's not act like she said husband and we about to walk down the aisle and what's the wedding playlist?
Yeah.
Like, come on now, Ace. That's what I was thinking in that conversation. So I didn't really like the second conversation. I felt like the first was okay. I was like, possibly this is justified from things we have not seen. And then that third conversation, I was just like, you doing this to save face with Shelly when you could have just picked Shelly at the end of the day, like, because that's what you wanted. And when Shelly basically told you, like, nigga, I'm not about to chase you. Like, what you think this is? Like, you're gonna tell me how to date you? Cause there's no switch up. I feel like that's when he was like, okay, I need to like ramp it up a little bit and do some things for Shelly to show my interest.
Mm-hmm.
And on the backside of that, it's like I got Amaya that I now regret coupling up with because she's a firecracker. And now he's in like this shitty situation. But um yeah, that the first conversation I was like, yeah, I don't think it had to go to the lengths that it went to if she just took that as like, okay, he just wants to state his
Well, I
boundaries.
don't. You keep saying it as boundaries, but I don't. I don't.
Or play the field. It could be play
Yeah.
the field because Ace has been a player the entire time.
Yeah.
Like even when he got up in the little blindfold game and he was, messing with Jeremiah's emotions. It's like, maybe it was Huda, maybe it was, Landria. Like we'll never know.
Yeah, and I think I said this to you before. I was like, I think that like players and guys who are no good, they use boundaries to enable them to keep up with their no goodness. You know what I'm saying? Like he is a player
Yeah,
and he's using his boundaries. You can't call me babe, you can't do this, you can't do that. To keep her in a box of like, I don't want you to spill over into this lane because you might mess up the shit I got going over here. I want to keep this open, you know what I'm saying? So that in case Shelly wants to, come over here, in case I just want to keep it all open and you can't step into here. And so I feel like he weaponizes boundaries in a way that, like, that allows him
yeah.
to keep up his player ass ways. And then two, I didn't like when he said, I don't have no problem telling a woman no. That just makes him like you more. So
Yes, that I
manipulative.
wrote that down in capital
Yeah,
letters. Like, no, you did not, Ace. Like, come on, my G. Like, yeah, no, that was
manipulative.
too much. At that point, that's when I was like, okay, Ace, like, on my meter. Like, you was going down like hella points when he said that because it was giving like you extra know what you're
Yeah.
doing, and it's too
Yeah,
much.
that's what I'm
Yes,
saying. Like people use some of these guys who are players or whoever, like they use boundaries because telling a woman no, I don't have no problem. They use them to further their whatever no good ass goal, and so that is
yeah,
Ace's only crime. I feel like in the beginning, that first conversation, it's just that okay. It's like okay, you know good. Oh, not no good. Let me take that back. He is a player, and you're not trying.
yeah. It was given. I want to taste all the
Yeah.
flavors, and then I'll settle on one when I'm ready. Definitely wants to get a little piece of everything that he can, for
But I'm not
sure,
even sure he wants to settle
for
on one
sure.
at a certain point. Like Ace gives me, I'm just here for a good time. I'm not here for a long time.
Yeah,
Like Ace gives me, I don't know. So I'm a little scared for Shelly in that dynamic of, I'm just a
yeah,
little scared for her because it feels like that's who she's holding space for, and I don't feel like he's the one to hold space for, to be honest. But
yeah. I do agree with that. I am hoping that somebody else comes in to this
for
house
Shelly,
that can,
yes.
yes, for Shelly,
I
for
mean,
sure, man or
I feel
woman.
like Ace one day could be a great partner one day. He just doesn't feel like he's
Absolutely.
there yet. You know what I'm saying? He's got the making. He
Yeah,
doesn't have to me the discipline yet. And that's like that because like yeah, it all of that. But there was something that
Yeah, him saying like he's never been in love. I think he had like one
Put too
girlfriend
many
and stuff like that.
boundaries
I was
up.
like,
You can't be in love.
yeah,
You cannot
yeah,
love someone through walls. Like you have to get a little vulnerable. And so who knows where
mm-hmm,
the source of all of that is? You know what I'm saying? Like if he is he an avoidant? Is he like who knows? But you have to like
yeah,
in order to actually love
disorganized.
somebody, maybe. But it ain't given
Yeah,
disorganized.
he don't know if he hot or cold.
Well, yeah. Like he disorganized the women he with. Like but he's
Yeah,
giving I don't go, I have my boundaries. I'm very clear on it. But yeah, the other thing I think I was gonna say about Ace, or not Ace, I was gonna say something about Amaya. Like Amaya's ass
yeah,
is like unhinged for sure. Like she just like
yeah,
the way she flipped off on Shelly, the way she flipped off on him, like it doesn't mean that she's not having a right read, but just because she has like this wrong reaction to it, you know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
like a lot of the women are having, or not a lot, just her and Bella are having these right reads a little bit, but then they do things that I'm like, what the hell? Why do you do that? Like you're not standing on
yeah.
business. Like you know what I'm saying? Like if like I didn't understand how after that first, was it the first conversation or maybe it was the second, that
The second that she said he's still my number one, I still want to explore. I said, "Girl, is you dumb? Like, what is going on here?" But then she said, "Like, I like a little toxic. Like, if me and my man not arguing, like we're gonna argue." And I'm not even sure if I feel like Ace also picked up on that as well, with Amaya, because baby, that girl said we finna start an argument, light a match tonight.
yeah. But yeah, so much more to talk about with them. But do we want to slip into
Yeah,
Shelly and Austin? Because they're on the other side of this coin. Like I
yes,
do personally, on the Amaya point, I feel like Austin, if Austin had gone first, he would have chosen her. And I don't think she would have
I
flipped out the
agree.
way she flipped out with him. Like I do think she has the issues, they're deep rooted, and she needs to like deal with that, go to whatever therapy to deal with that. However, I do feel like certain things don't always get activated with certain people. You get what I'm saying? I feel like everybody
Right.
can be loved exactly as they are. They just have to find a partner that matches with whatever things that are in them that, need, they need that match with their complement. And I feel like Austin is
Yeah,
very calm, and I don't think he would have activated that in her. He's also, like I said, in his little boyness and not in his manhood. And so her girly, like, whatever, like her little, just want to have fun, they would have just vibed on that a little bit. So I don't think that
I
it would have
agree.
flared up in the way, and we may not even have known that she was toxic. The only thing I could see with her and Austin is that maybe she would get bored with him. Maybe, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, because Austin don't seem like he might. Well, he might argue with you. He might in his
Austin might be like,
boyhood. But I was surprised that she said that Ace was her number one before the recoupling,
uh, uh,
and not Austin, because it seemed like Austin and her had a better conversation, a better
mm,
flow than her and Ace did. So I was surprised by that as well. I was also surprised that Amaya acted like she didn't know that Ace and Shelly was chit chatting. I'm like, all these conversations y'all having, it just never popped up. Like, I don't believe that.
yeah, I think
Um,
she just wanted a reason. It's
so
like Shelly clocked it. She was like, she's upset at the situation and she needs somebody to offload
yeah,
her
and it's
anger. Yeah, it's
misplaced.
misplaced anger.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, let's get into Shelly
yeah.
and Austin.
Mhm.
Yeah, I said it earlier. The one thing I will say that I appreciate about Austin is that he is able to like say, Shelly is not this type of girl. She's not this type of girl, and I appreciate that about her. I love that about
Mhm.
her. Or he said, I think I like that about her the
Mhm.
most. So I do like that budding part is like happening within their relationship. But I do agree he is probably just not enough man for Shelly. Point blank. Period.
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't work in the real world. Like you get home and you find out that this man voted for Trump and you are a gay black woman, like I mean bisexual black woman, like yeah, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah. I'm like, so they don't know that inside the house. That just came out on the outside.
No. Hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, that they seem like they just ended up back together because Ace picked Amaya, point blank.
Yeah.
I think Austin was
Hmm.
ready to make a move. I think Shelly was expecting, something from Ace, and so it is what it is. But Shelly, she's my favorite. Like I said, she's just very calm and classy. I hope
Yeah.
somebody, like we said, comes in for her, but if not, Shelly gonna be all right. Shelly just gives like
Yeah.
very
Agreed.
confident in herself. I like that about her.
Yes. And she's so beautiful. I think like one of her modeling pictures came down my timeline and I was like, oh my god, she's
Mhm.
so ethereal. I
Yeah,
love it. I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
No, I
Love
love that
it.
the dark skinned women are getting a lot of love here. So
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we don't always see that. And a couple seasons ago, I forgot her name, Cash. She was was she the only? I think she was the only dark
mhm.
skinned girl of the season, and she had like a really really tough time.
Mm,
Janae last season had a tough
mm.
time. Um,
Yeah, it's
until Kenny came in. So yeah, it's never. Of course, that it is real life, right?
yeah.
Like the dark skinned black woman, no matter how beautiful she is, she's not gonna always be the first picked. Most of the time, she's not gonna be the
Because
first
of
picked. Um,
societal brainwashing of like
yes,
what beauty standards are.
yes.
Like let's
Yes, because I'm sitting here like hands down, Shelly and Alandria are the most beautiful women in there right now. Like the other girls are not touching them. Not to
Mhm.
like compare, but they ain't touching them. Not in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean, I think Cassie's
So
cute, like, but also it's somewhat of like Cassie's overall like mystique and
you said
oh
Sierra? You mean
yeah,
Sierra?
yes, Sierra, Sierra. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
they're
yeah.
all pretty
They're all very pretty.
as women.
Yes,
I know I'm missing somebody. But either
Hannah.
way, but yeah, I think they're all cute.
Yeah,
Like I think they're much cuter than the guys, to be honest. Um,
yeah, yeah.
they don't feel like they
Definitely.
have enough matches for them, their level. But do we want to
Mhm.
get
Mhm.
into the next couple? We want to do who are we doing next? Huda and
You want to get into Huda and Jeremiah
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a little
Well,
bit
actually,
more?
let's get into Alandria. Can we get into Alandria and Taylor just because
Yeah,
talk
Alandria
about
Taylor.
a little
Yeah.
bit? Yeah, like what you think about this? I
Now on
I'm a
the
little bit
attractive
of a
front, I'm
girl.
like, Taylor, what do you mean you're not sure if you are physically
That
attracted? I'm like, what? I'm like, man, it's
part.
not really making sense. Now there are some rumors out there that say that Taylor was texting a woman. I don't know if it was his girl before he went out, but basically saying like he's just going out there to promote himself for his modeling career. And so I don't know if that's why he's being a little, distant.
Hmm.
But I'm like, I've heard some takes like, oh, Alandria said what she needed. He immediately acted with that kiss. I'm like, that was not
I
immediate action. That shit
know,
felt forced as
right?
hell. Going into that photo booth, I was like, Alandria, get out. This man don't like you. I don't ever want to see my sisters struggling with no man unsure of them. Get the fuck out the
Right,
booth.
right. No,
Like, get out.
absolutely. I agree. I agree. And on top of that, it's like, ah, what am I? Like, I could see if it was like somebody who was like really giving and coming in. It's like I'm a hot. Come on. I'm not a fan of Taylor. I think that like, bruh, like. I'm not gonna say what I have in my brain, but what I have in my brain is what the people.
Cutie, scrawny, little man. I love that he's a cowboy. I feel like that gives like I could give you an experience. I love
But he
that. He's
feels like
in vet school, super cool. But also like what you say, it's a little boy in a grown man's. Well, I don't even know
oh
if that's a grown man's body,
right.
child, but
It's like here the body
it's
imagine.
not
It's
giving.
like inside. I feel like Taylor is more grown man a little bit than his
Yeah,
body is giving, but like it's like that. Like even when Alandria picked him, I was like, this was like a safe choice, Alandria. Like why are we? What's this about? And then
I think it was strictly off the fact that he was a cowboy in country because she said that was something she really liked in a man, and nobody has come in giving country vibes, deep south
I
vibes,
heard
but
her. I
him.
heard her. I still kind of, had the thought that I had, but that kind of did reel me in. Like, okay, maybe there is this thing. But I feel like she keeps having these conversations with him and telling him what she needs, and she keeps. But it's like, yeah, I don't know, Alandria. Like, I feel like you said it enough. Like, let's just cut with the chit chat and like, and I just
Right.
don't think he's that all that to be like
Yeah.
repeating things over and over.
Absolutely not. Because how many times do you have to tell a man, yes, you can touch my leg, you can kiss
Yeah.
me, we can
And then
cuddle a little
and then
bit. You don't even tell me good morning?
right, and then it comes out that he's actually not attracted to her. Like he said, he's not attracted. It's like
Yeah.
whatever. Maybe he did go on the show just to promote his is it modeling? Like
Yes.
you gotta have a little bit more muscles to be a model, in my view. Like I don't, she could be a model. She's very slender. You know what I'm saying? And to the point that I'm like, this girl really has a banging body because it's like you are skinny. She's a very thin woman, and she's still curvy. You get what I'm saying? So like, let
Yes.
this girl get a few sandwiches in her. Like she would be out here like
Yes.
like
Body yaddy 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 yaddy. She's already giving body yaddy 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 yaddy.
it's like you can tell she has a body because of that. So it is what it is. It's like she's giving on levels that I feel like he's not giving, in more ways than one. And so I want something better for her. And I just don't think it's him. He's nice and respectable. I give him that. Like he does
Yeah,
not
he
give me
is.
like Ace, but something about him gives like he too could stand to be a little bit more grown manness, but mostly on the
Yes.
outside.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, there's no way. But
uh-huh.
one thing about Alandria, though, like, it is killing
Uh-huh.
me that she don't know that Nick kissed her in that blindfold
Oh, yeah. I forgot
competition.
about
And I'm
that.
trying to figure out, is that going to ever resurface? Because I was rooting for that. I was like, okay,
Interesting.
Nick, Alandria, like, okay, that might be
Interesting.
something. Like,
I
let's see
forgot
what
about
happens. And they both are like the homeboy and homegirl of the
that.
group. Like everybody kind of goes to them
Well,
for
it seems like
advice
everybody
and
goes
like to
to
want to
Taylor
talk.
too. Well, that's what Taylor said. I don't know.
Yeah, well, sometimes yes, but I feel like Jeremiah goes to Nick. Like Jeremiah wanted to be able to like
Mhm.
chose Nick for
Mhm.
Huda to tell
Mhm.
about the kid.
Mhm.
Ace talks to Nick.
Yeah.
I feel like if Ace talked to you, that say something because Ace is like, "Fuck all
I
y'all." Like
know,
we not finna.
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I feel you.
uh,
I feel you. I feel you. Maybe we should get into Nick and Sierra and the Bella of it all because Bella was coupled with him at one
yes.
point. Your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I was actually really rooting for Nick and Bella. Like I wanted him to choose Bella. Um, but at the end of the day, I think his personality was probably more fit for Sierra. I was just biased for Bella because I was just like, Bella's not gonna be the one to like lead with her sexuality, and I feel like that kind of just put her on the bottom,
Mhm.
and I hate to see that happen. To be a woman of
Mhm.
to want to
Yeah.
be. Yes, yes, and then that type of thing happens. So that was just my little bias on the inside rooting for
Yeah, but
Bella,
I
but
feel like if that was gonna be such a big thing for him, then it's like, bruh, like that's never gonna work for you anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
yeah,
not gonna work. And then also the thing with Bella is like Bella to me did not ever stand in her power. Like that's the thing I think I was saying.
yeah,
I love that Shelly is she. Although I don't like her holding space for Ace, she entertains her other options. I was like, Charlie was in Bella's face. Charlie should have been Bella should have been
yeah.
entertaining that option, like entertaining all the other options, and like I don't feel like the physical thing would have mattered as much, but maybe it did. But then it's like that's not your person though, because you obviously she only been with one person. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you are someone who is a slow start. So
Yeah.
you need somebody to match that or be okay with that and see your value either way. You know what I'm saying? Nick seems to be thinking with his body and stuff like that. And I like Sierra for him more because Sierra seemed confident and more sure of herself. Like even when Bella was leaving, she was all like, no one's put me first, and I have. And it's like, girl, put yourself first. Like put
Put
yourself first.
yourself
It's
first.
like you don't.
Yes, yes.
He's not all that, and so I
Yeah.
just wish that she could have been a little bit more self-respecting. Not self-respecting because she was self-respect. I guess what I'm trying to say is like she was. I would have liked to see her be a little bit more stand on business.
To display a higher
Yeah.
self-esteem. Yeah, it was given like her self-esteem was rocked by the situation.
Mhm. And it's like,
So
yeah,
yeah, yeah, it was sad to see.
yeah.
I did think it was really cute on her way out when she said like my heart is the prettiest thing about me. I
Aw,
wrote that down. I was like, oh, I like that. That was a cute
that was
affirmation.
cute. That was cute. Who haven't we touched on? Let's. What you want to get into Charlie and Hannah really quick? Because I to say about
Yeah.
them,
Mm-hmm.
they cute. People in the chat were like,
Yeah.
they don't like them. They think it's forced. I think it's real. I think they both like each other. You don't you think it's
I felt like I think Charlie was trying to figure out a way to solidify his space in the villa. Yeah, because it was like you were so gung ho on Shelly, and then you just backed up, and then Hannah came in, and you just like went full force into it. I felt like the dock scene when they kissed was the exact same dock scene when he tried to kiss Shelly. Oh, the stars are aligning, and it's this is the night. So
I really think he was
yeah,
into
I have to
her.
see.
I think he's into both of them, but I think with Shelly he recognized that Ace is her guy, and Austin is trying to like.
Yeah.
I think he recognized that Shelly was not feeling him back the same way. So I think he just hopped off of that. I feel like if I saw him trying to be like Alandria, all these other women, then I would be like, oh, the Hannah thing is fake. He's just looking for somebody. But it genuinely seems like they both were interested in each other. So I personally, I see it. I see it. Any
Now, one thing I will say about Charlie that I do appreciate is that you could tell he wants someone. Like he
mm,
wants to
yeah,
be able
in a relationship.
to get to know somebody. I think he really wants to be in a relationship out of all the guys there.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that going for him
Mm-hmm.
for sure. But I gotta see a little bit more. I feel like the conversations we see of them are a little chopped and screwed. So we'll
True,
see.
true, true. Um, so do we have any thoughts on Huda and Jeremiah before we close out?
I think we said the most, and I feel like it's gonna be so much more coming. We ain't even gotta dig too
No,
much into them. I think we said the gist of it. It will be interesting to see what happens after this whole blow up that's happening around him, around Huda now looking to close things off. I'm like, girl,
I feel her though.
back
I feel
up. You
her a
want to
little
move
bit.
in, you want to close it off. Yeah, I'm like, girl, you want to move in, you want to close it off, you want him to see what it's like for you to be a mom, you want him to meet your daughter. Like, it's just a lot of conversations that are a little too
Yeah,
heavy in the first week. And I think he was absolutely right to say it's just becoming a
yeah,
lot. I think he needs to voice that and not package it in the just don't tell me good job, because really what you want to say is, girl, back up. I feel like that's what he really wants to say is just like, give me 2 seconds.
right.
Um, but yeah, he went in too hot with it, and now he is reaping the consequences of that. And the guy, I'm glad at least Nick spoke up. If Jeremiah, I mean, if Ace would have been the only one to speak up, it would have been like, all right, bro. But Nick saying something, I felt like that at least gave Jeremiah a pause. But I will say, like, Jeremiah, if this is what you want, just say this is what you want and leave it at that
Mhm.
instead of being so easily swayed.
I and the,
But that's
my
it.
last little point about Jeremiah is I really think that he has like there's something like when Alandria kept talking about like it's red flags that he's like want to hem you up. I agree with that, and I think Huda
Yeah.
took that as like, oh, he loves me. He loves. It's like, nah, this is a eager moving ass motherfucker. Like you know what I'm saying. And so like I feel
Okay.
like that gives red flags. I think Alandria was right on about it. I don't think they've explored that enough and thought. I think something about it is signaling something about Jeremiah signals like I don't want to say it's not low self esteem, but it's like my self esteem is built off of maybe things that are different than like the insides of who I am. Like it's
Yeah.
more on the
Yeah.
package and the
Agreed.
outside. And I don't know. He's just a fast mover. But anyway, we'll see next week. We got an episode.
Yeah, I also will say I did not like when he told Huda to shut up. I
Sure,
did
shut
not like
up.
that either.
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, he was like, "Shut up," and it was like, "I can't talk to you when you're sleepy because then you gaslight me." I wasn't really feeling that interaction. Just sounds like a man talking to a woman.
Yeah. Don't tell
But I was like, clearly y'all are comfortable talking to each other like this because Huda didn't check it. She was just like,
mm,
"Okay, well, like, what the fuck? Like, what did I do?" And I'm like, "All right, this is already giving toxic and too
yeah.
much."
No, it's
So
definitely too much. But we'll
yeah.
see what happens with them. Ace will be ready to pick up the pieces. And that's I'm like, oh, for my girl Shelly. But anyway. We got an episode tonight. We'll
Yes.
see you guys probably next week, and I'm back.
Yes. Next
Yeah.
Wednesday.
So join our DM us
Yes.
on Instagram if you want to join our Love Island chat. That thing be going, going, going. So
Going.
all right, I'll talk to you. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye.